Alright guys, we're back staring at my engine bay, and in this video we are going to be replacing this part on your B58. So this is the belt tensioner that holds the accessory belt in place, and it's kind of a unique design. It actually installs on top of the alternator and rotates around it, so kind of different, but there are a lot of issues that people have with these that require replacement. So typically what people hear is kind of like a belt squeal sound. It's the same kind of belt squeal that you would hear on any other car. Usually they hear it after a shift and maybe when you're driving around town. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to replace it. There is a new part number, so some of us might be driving around with the older part. I can't tell you for sure that the new part is a better design or fixes any quality issues, but just make sure you buy the latest part, and that will give you the best chance at fixing this issue. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the back of the car, pop the trunk, and disconnect the battery. We are going to be unplugging a couple of sensors, so that will give you the best opportunity to not have any electrical issues after this. And then we're going to remove the engine cover. And now we need to move things out of the way to access the tensioner. Now it's just under the charge pipe, so if you have a two-piece charge pipe like me, it's pretty simple. But if you don't, like if you have the stock turbo setup or the stock charge pipe and intake setup, what you're going to need to do is remove the intake. And I have a DIY on intake replacement that you can look at to help show you how to remove that. And then we're going to remove the charge pipe. And I do have another DIY on my turbo replacement that will show you how to unclip the charge pipe from your turbo and completely remove that. But if you're like me and you have an aftermarket charge pipe that's already set up to be two-piece, then you only really need to remove this top half. So the first thing we're going to do is unplug these two sensors. You have a temperature and a pressure sensor on your charge pipe. And to unplug them, it's just like all the other sensors on our car. So you're going to pop this tab out, and then you're going to push the tab in and pull it out. Same for the other one. I have a 10mm nut on this coupler, and then you have 3 T30 screws around the charge pipe. So remove those, and then you'll be able to pull off the top half and access the tensioner on the alternator. So now that we've removed the charge pipe, we're going to go ahead and remove tension on the belt. And the way to do that is you put a 5/8 inch socket on this feature right here, and then you twist. And that's going to give you the leverage you need to remove tension on the belt. So when you turn it, you can see it moves the tensioner out of the way. And once you do that, you can take the belt off. So now we're going to remove the 1/2 inch bolts that are holding the tensioner onto the alternator. So there's one here, one up here, and one down at the bottom. All right, now this is the new tensioner that's going to be going in. There was a new part number, so you might have an older one, but there's no real telling if the new part number is more reliable or what actually changed on it. When I looked at the two, they pretty much look the same. I still wouldn't have expected it to fail that early, but I've heard of this happening to a couple different people, and replacing the tensioner and belt seemed to fix it. So we're going to go ahead and slap this one in. Now the installation is the exact reverse of removal. So we're going to put in the 3 bolts, and then this pin is what actually is preventing it from, making tension. So once you get the belt on, you're going to pull this pin out, and then this will snap into place and put tension on the belt. So now that you have tension on the belt, go ahead and double check your work. Make sure it's completely centered down here on the crank pulley. That's going to be a really important one for it to be on there properly. And then of course, all the other pulleys for your AC and everything, make sure it's properly aligned. And then everything else is the reverse of removal. So we're going to go ahead and put the charge pipe back on. And then if you have the stock intake, you'll also put your stock intake back on. And before you put your charge pipe on, make sure that you replace this gasket as well. You can see mine looks pretty cruddy, so replace that. It'll make sure that you don't have any boost leaks and that everything works like it should.